why your Meta ad results make zero sense? Let's talk about the most frustrating parts of the Meta ads platform and see if you've hit by the same madness, and to reassure you that you're not alone, okay guys? So apologies, this is a bit of a rant video on Meta ads specifically, but let me know if you're also experiencing the same problems, guys. So guys, this one's for all ad managers out there. You've been patient, polite, and professional for long enough now, and today we're letting it all out, guys. These are the most annoying things about running Meta ads right now that a lot of ad managers complain about, that we experience all the time, and if you've experienced even one of these, I guarantee you guys that you're not alone. See if you relate to any of these issues. So guys, rant video coming up, and we're gonna get into it today! So guys, some things that we will be looking at today, that your frustrations are shaped by thousands of ad managers out there, all with very similar problems. The specific Meta ad features that most of us would either remove, fix, or at least explain. And of course, some reassurance that you're not doing anything wrong, guys. You're just playing inside of a platform that keeps changing those rules. So guys, grab your coffees and grab your hats. It's time to spin up some ad magic! Take a swig of coffee before our rant begins. Today we are working with Meta ads, and it's no exception that we will of course need to regulate our nervous system in the Meta ads manager. Let me know guys if you are experiencing similar things. Okay, so here is a bunch of things, a list of stuff that is super annoying as an ad manager and that has been expressed all over the world by hundreds of ad managers across the world. I'm going to condense these frustrations and vent a little bit with you guys, okay? If you've been creating ads recently, you know that creative enhancements has been a recent development by Meta, and I think gives a certain level of automation that does your creative a little bit of a disservice, okay? So the idea here is that when you add in the Advantage Plus creative enhancements, they're supposed to make your creatives better, right? And unfortunately, these are on as a default. They don't always make your creatives better, guys. So you have to always judge and go through the ads that you're creating to ensure that the creative enhancements that are being also applied to your ads are applicable, okay? Because what we see, like I said, is that these things are auto-applied, and then when we check the ads and see what they look like, they make the ad worse, okay? So specifically, most of the time, all optimizations will be turned on, okay? And this is bad news, guys. It's a really, really bad idea. I would not recommend this. I would only recommend this if you can see that it's doing your ad a service, okay? It's upgrading your ad. If it's not, don't worry about it. We have loads of different enhancements, and Meta is constantly changing these enhancements. As you can see here, more enhancements, okay? So they're changing these enhancements, but as a default, they're on, okay? So as a default, guys, you need to go in and turn these off on your ads. That is frustration number one. Why are creative auto enhancements turned on? They're not making the creative any better, guys. Okay, it's adding music, turning an image into a video or something like this, and fine if it increases conversion rate, but not always, guys, and sometimes it actually makes the ads worse. Something I would also mention, that if you are running a financial service-based company in the US, do not have text improvements or anything like this on, because if you're following the SEC guidelines, you need to make sure that all of the ad copy that you have or are using is SEC approved, and Meta will do is that it might enhance the text to make it SEC not approved. Okay, so you need to make sure that if you have a financial services company in the US that you don't have the text improvements on if you're trying to abide by the SEC rules. Okay, so super important, guys. So that's my point number one, my frustration number one. Give me a comment down below if you're also feeling the same frustration, guys. Now the second thing that we see that is quite common is that the ad budgets that we set aren't super vigorous, aren't super strict. So if you have a client or you are trying to be very sensitive to how much you're spending on your ads and you don't have any leeway or any give, because Meta can sometimes spend a bit more or spend a bit less than what your daily budget is, right? So if you're trying really hard to stick to a certain budget, this is my frustration number two, guys, is that sometimes we can go over or under, which makes us as ad managers, it puts us in a bad predicament, because then we need to go to the client and explain why is it spent more, explain why is it spent less. One time I even paid the client back because it overspent on a campaign out of my own money, because I had no control over that. It had a conversion campaign, it spent a few $100s more than it needed to, and then I had to explain to the client why that happened. Ultimately, I didn't want to leave the client out of pocket there, so I sent this money back. It's really, really frustrating, guys. Like, why, if we set a daily spend limit, okay, why is it that Meta chooses to spend more than what we asked it to? Okay, I understand there are peaks and troughs and all those kind of things, but as ad managers, being very vigorous and strict to certain smaller budgets, let's say if you're working with a smaller client where they're really monitoring all the costs and spends and everything around it, that it can be really inconvenient. Okay, so if you're running a big conversion campaign, it can sometimes spend way more than your target budget because it thinks, hey, it's going to get us good results, and those results don't always equal in quality. Okay, you may get an influx in results. Sometimes it doesn't actually move the needle and doesn't add any value to the business, and it can actually put you in a bit of a predicament as an ad manager to go and explain to the client why Meta has spent more than what you've allocated it to, right? So that's my frustration number 2, guys. Leave me a comment down below if you're also really frustrated around that. Now, my third point of frustration that I get a little bit frustrated at, okay, is something in the auto placements. Okay, if you have auto placement selected, this is great. This gives a lot of AI and power and leverage to Meta to go and find us great results. However, can sometimes bid for placements that aren't bidded for very highly in order to insert that ad, but it doesn't always guarantee us results. So that's kind of a point number 3, guys, is that sometimes AI Advantage Plus doesn't always give us better results. It's meant to, but I'd love to hear, guys, if you've also been playing around with it and realized actually auto placement isn't very good for this. Actually, we need to create a campaign specifically for mobile placement and not have Advantage placement turned on. Okay, this is what we've done. This is what we've had to do with some of our clients when we realize, hey, actually mobile traffic converts way higher. Okay, Meta doesn't, within that Advantage Plus placement, it doesn't shift more budget to mobile. It continues spending across desktop and mobile. Okay, when we can see that most of the results are coming through mobile, we have to go and create a separate ad set, as in this example here. As you can see in one of our clients' ad managers here, we had to specifically turn Advantage Plus placement off because here we're $213 CPA on the desktop, using the exact same creatives and only pivoting the placement for mobile specifically. Okay, here we can see the 2 campaigns that we ran that were mobile first, we got way less. We got 10x lower CPAs because we specifically told Meta, hey, we don't want desktop, we don't want any other placements, we just want mobile. And look at the results here, guys. And ultimately, hey, Meta should know this, right? Meta should prioritize mobile first and all those kind of things. But here it didn't, so we ended up having to split up our ad sets so that we could measurably see which one mobile placement and the desktop placement. So again, guys, like, this is another, we're giving a lot of power and leverage to the Meta AI, which is great, but ultimately we are trusting it to find us great results. And sometimes if we don't look under the hood at the data and we don't actually fine-tune that ad AI, it can go and find us load of results that don't actually move the needle for us. So that's my point number 3, guys. Actually, under Advantage Plus placements or Advantage Plus tools, that it doesn't always find us great results, and sometimes we need to really pay attention to the data because we might need to fine-tune some of those placements, for example, where we have given the AI power a lot more leverage. So that's my frustration. Hit me a comment down below if you're also frustrated with this guy. But guys, before you're new here, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss any more important updates. We are here many times a week to help online advertisers and digital marketeers get the best from online advertising, paid media, and digital marketing strategies. But without further ado, let's get on with the video, bro. Now, guys, the 4th thing. The next kind of section, I guess, are things that I think make the ad managers look bad, okay? Because ultimately we're working for clients, we're working for our own businesses and all these things, and we are representing that business and playing Meta's games and rules to help that business, okay? So these are things that kind of make the ad manager look a bit bad, okay? We are advocating and on the side of the client always, on the side of the business always, but we need to work with Meta in order to get that business some results, and ultimately we need to play their rules. It's kind of a bit annoying. So guys, this is just something that we noticed that we found incredibly annoying, specifically more recently, that we have come into ad rejections, ad creative that has been rejected once. We've spoken to Meta, requested a review. They said there's no reason that these ads should have been rejected. For example, you could have one ad that has been running, then you speak to Meta, there's no reason that this ad has been rejected, you get it cleared, and then you run another iteration or you duplicate that ad set with some new copy variations, and then again it gets rejected, guys. It's the same creative, it's basically the same ad. Leave me a comment down below if you also get this, guys. The trick to this, annoyingly, is to speak to Meta every single time this happens to ensure that everything is above board in your Meta ad account. And I'm going to click add a card in the top corner so that you can see how to talk to Meta if that ever happens to you, or if your ad account ever gets restricted or disabled. A number of different steps that you can follow in order to get that back activated, okay? But that is super annoying, happens with us all the time, that we create an ad, it might get rejected once, we get it cleared, and then we create another version of that ad, we duplicate that ad, and again, Meta says there's no reason that it should have been rejected, but it gets rejected again. And that is so annoying, guys. That is my frustration. Number 4. Hit me a comment down below if you're also frustrated with this, guys. Now, another huge frustration for me, guys, number 5, is the idea of flexible ads, okay? I've made a whole video about flexible ads and why you need to be careful and how to use them correctly. Okay, I'm going to link another card in the top corner so you can watch that video. But flexible creatives need to have understanding that flexible is typically selected as a default when we go to select our ads, which we shouldn't do. Okay, only if you know what works should you be using a flexible / dynamic ad, okay? Because the frustration that I feel is that when you use a flexible ad, you can't see the data around each of the creatives, right? So you created a flexible ad, you've uploaded 5 different of the top performing creatives, but then we don't see the data around each of those creatives, okay? The workaround here would be to create individual ads with individual creatives so that you can individually see the individual data. And what happens is when we group them into a flexible ad, it's great for Meta to go and find us and optimize around the key results. However, we don't get the data as to, okay, this creative is actually working better, or this creative working better, and this is my frustration with flexible ads, guys. Leave me a comment down below if you're also frustrated with flexible ads. Let me know if you are also seeing this, but when you have a CBO campaign, and if you'd like to know the difference between a CBO and an ABO budget bidding strategy, then I've got a card in the top corner where I go through those differences. But another frustration that I feel when we're running campaign budget optimization, CBO, is that Advantage Plus, that CBO kind of picks a winner and then after 12 hours kind of kills the rest. Okay, so here's a great example where it hasn't done that. We can see how it's spending, okay, within the ad set, okay, $193, and it has got the cheapest CPA, okay, so that's what you would hope to see, is that Meta is promoting the thing which is getting you the best CPA, okay. Here, for example, we can see that the next highest spend is $98.33, and it's the highest CPA, so I don't know why Meta has chosen to continue pushing that ad when there are other ads here that have lower CPAs, okay, and they don't have as much spend. What we'd typically like to see in CBO is that Meta spends more where the ad works best, okay? But it doesn't always happen, guys. Sometimes it just picks a winner, and what you might see is that it just stops spending on other ads. That's crazy. Let me comment down below if you're also frustrated in this. And here's another great example, guys, because there's different ad spends here and different results, and you can see how Meta is kind of prioritizing these things, okay? There is the understanding that Meta AI has a deeper knowledge of what's going to work, and that's why it's pushing those ads more in CBO. But sometimes it can feel like, hey, give some of the other ads. Like, we've spent a lot of time, effort, and resources on these other creatives. Please, can you just spend a little bit more on those creatives rather than constantly pushing the things that are working, right? So here, we've got 2 ads that is really, really pushed. We spent over $11,000 on these 2 ads. And below that, we have loads and loads of ads that have virtually no spend, right? It hasn't tried testing the other ones. And some of the other ads, we're getting better CPAs, for example, right? Give me a comment down below if this is also super frustrating to you. Now, guys, the final thing that I'm getting frustrated in, and maybe you are too, but as we know, Meta, Google, all these platforms, they're trying to reduce the barrier to entry so that any business owner can go and create ads. Any entrepreneur can go and create their own ads without needing specialists to do so, okay? So this is great because it allows the accessibility for any business owners to go and create ads. What it also does is that through this move of making things easier, automation and all that stuff, it removes the manual controls that we need as ad managers to steer the ship a little bit. It's very much about the inputs and outputs needed to train our ad AI, but we also need to be able to grab the steering wheel every now and again. And sometimes we just can't do that. The latest update is that Meta is actually going to be removing or deprioritizing manual campaign creation in order to prioritize Advantage Plus campaign creation, okay? Just to make things really easy for business owners and just to make things really easy for everybody. They're trying to remove those barriers to entry so that anybody can go and create their ads really easily, okay? What that does do, it also removes the controls away from the people, the advanced ad managers that want to be able to tinker a little bit, and will make that less and less likely. So that's my final frustration, guys. You will see lots and lots of developments coming out, and sometimes they happen halfway through a campaign. Sometimes you recommend something to a client, and next thing you know, they've changed it up again, and Meta have a new feature and new functions and all that kind of stuff, guys. These are all additional frustrations that a lot of people feel. You know, all I can say is, like, if you're feeling these things, you're not alone. There are many managers across the world that are also feeling these frustrations, myself included, and we are constantly battling with Meta and trying to work with them to get the best results for our clients. Sometimes this can lead to huge frustrations because Meta keeps changing things. And honestly, guys, if you feel confused, exhausted, you feel like you're constantly explaining things that Meta are doing to your clients, trust me, guys, you are not alone, okay? We do this all the time. We have to talk to Meta support all the time. Honestly, say, it is a constant battleground to be an ad manager in 2025 working with meta ads. So guys, if you resonate with this, if you also feel these frustrations, okay, hit me a comment down below, guys. You're not the only people experiencing these things, and I can guarantee you are not alone in these frustrations. Okay, so sorry about the rant, guys. I appreciate and love every single one of you. Always live with love in your heart, but sometimes we have a bit of vengeance and hatred, a bit of annoyance from the ad platforms themselves as we try and work with them. They are big clunky beasts sometimes, and we need to grab the beast by the horns and steer it as best as we can. But sometimes the beast goes crazy and changes the game, changes the rules. Before you know it, the bull has flung you from its back and you're lying face down in the dirt somewhere across the field. Give me a comment if you're feeling any of these frustrations as well. I love every single one of you, and as I said, live with love in your hearts. And determination, grit, persistence is all what makes the ad manager great these days. And don't worry, guys, you're not alone in these frustrations. Okay, right, guys, I'm casting something special together. Not even sure what it will look like yet, but if you're interested in finding out what the AdWizard team has planned in store next, and you want first dibs or even a say in what happens, guys, hit the waitlist down below to signal your interest by joining the waitlist today and get exclusive access to whatever the AdWizard team has planned up next. And that's it for today, guys. Hopefully now you have a really good understanding as to what other ad managers are complaining about, frustrated about in Meta Ads platform right now. And I'm really sorry for this rant style of video, guys, but I'm only echoing what a lot of ad managers out there are saying right now and what we've experienced ourselves. Let me know in the comments down below if you've also experienced any of these problems and how frustrating they are. This is just what it's like to run Meta Ads in 2025, unfortunately. Okay, so don't worry, we're all in it together. Huge love to everybody fighting the good fight in the Meta Ads Manager right now, and we are all doing it together, guys. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for all the support. I appreciate every single one of you joining us on this path of discovery and learning. I'm your boy Jerry the Ad Wizard. You can find me at Jerry Ad Wizard on X, Instagram, at Jerry Griffiths on LinkedIn, and at Jerry Dreadlocks everywhere else. If you want to learn some tips and tricks on how to work with meta ads the best, I've got loads and loads of videos. Guys, if you're wanting to target highly wealthy individuals in the US using meta ads, I've walked through video just over here. Click over this one video over here. Your boy Jerry the Ad Wizard. Thank you so much for watching, and wherever you are in the world, I bid you peace and love and a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one.